of Africa Climate Summit 2023. Now, I'm going through these declarations. It's quite heavy document with different points. And point number 45, as part of the call to action, notes that multilateral finance reform is necessary, but not sufficient to provide the scale of climate financing the world needs to achieve 43% emission reduction by 2030 required to meet the Paris Agreement, without which keeping global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius will be in serious jeopardy. Further note that the scale of financing required to unlock Africa's climate positive growth is beyond the borrowing capacity of national balance sheets or at the risk premium that Africa is currently paying for private sector. And this issue of private sector comes in very handy. Question is, what is the role of private sector in regards to, in regards to mitigating this finance gap, not only in innovative ideas that are meant to intervene some of these climate smart solutions, but to actively make sure that we are funding this gap. Right now, I'd like us to listen in early on the president who's touching on some of the key elements and highlights of this summit. Let's listen in.
The Africa Climate Summit is both a demonstration of the unwavering collective commitment of the people of Africa to their vision to make humanity's first home here in Africa, a land of abundant potential, limitless opportunity, and the possibility of shared prosperity. It is also showcases our determination to mobilize a global coalition of emergency responders to ensure that the industrialization necessary to drive future economic transformation restores our planet's vitality and ecological balance. At the summit, our shared understanding became clear that Africa is not only the cradle of humanity, it is indeed the future, and that we are the last frontier of untapped potential in the form of hundreds of millions of young men and women who are educated, skilled, motivated, innovative, ready and willing to drive the enterprises and industries that will unlock the possibilities promised by our immense endowments of natural assets, mineral resources, and green energy potential in order to unleash opportunities and prosperity for Africa and the world on an unprecedented scale. At the summit, we also made it clear that we are aware of the unjust configuration of multilateral institutional frameworks that perpetually place African nations on the back foot through costly financing, which plunge our economies into debt trap and deny them resources needed to mitigate and adapt in response to climate change, invest in energy transition, and facilitate industrialization to create jobs and wealth, and to reduce inequality. As a continent, we have developed our common position, which encapsulates our ambition for socio-economic transformation and our climate action agenda. This position is anchored on the potential that Africa holds to decarbonize the global economy and set the stage for green industrialization throughout the world. We demand a fair playing ground for our countries to access the investment needed to unlock the potential and translate it into opportunities. We further demand a just multilateral development finance architecture to liberate our economies from odious debt and onerous barriers to necessary financial resources. We are clear in our minds and hearts that the international community must walk with us in this journey into a future of prosperity and security in an ecologically balanced, thriving planet. We are therefore determined to have difficult conversations, take hard decisions, and make uncomfortable changes to set international consensus on an Afrocentric and globally inclusive path into an African future. On a continent as young as Africa, it is impossible to imagine the future without the youth. Our young men and women in every African country are the primary stakeholders who will define and drive our agenda for green transformation and sustainable opportunities. Our message will not be clear if the voice of the youth is missing. Our efforts to achieve prosperity will not succeed if there are no opportunities for the youth. And our journey will be long and hard and in vain if the youth are not coming with us. Let the declaration of our commitment to act in unison and deliver our aspirations go forth in the firm, clear voice of a united Africa from Nairobi today, and tell the world about Africa's youth potential, opportunity, and its capacity to actualize a world of possibility. We understand that possibility, opportunity, potential, and youth all point to the future.
And just to go back to that particular declaration, the Nairobi Declaration, if you get a copy of that declaration,